Good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good evening, or good night. This is Jen at Jen's Arty Inclinations, a place to create, share, and play.
Hello everyone, it is the third official day of Defemorembra on December 6th, and today is Selfie in a Bubble. This challenge is hosted by Louise Heinzel and Barbara at 49 Dragonflies, and their links are below. Alrighty, so as you can see, I had a bubble embossing little folder. So I had this lovely scrap, and it sort of looked like bubbles in itself anyway, and in fact I think I made it with bubble wrap. So I popped it through the embossing folder, and I, thought these circles sort of looked a little bit like bubbles. I just highlighted them a little bit with some ink, and that was my bubble piece. Now at this point, I had no idea what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to do a contour drawing, because they're a bit funny, but I really had no idea at this point. I'm sort of making it up as I make it with this, with Defemorembra this year. It just seems to be the way I'm rolling. Anyway, so here I am having a play about with doing my contour drawing. So that's me. And I thought rather than printing out the selfie, I'd do a little weird sketch. So I did a couple of practice runs, and what this is, or rather what a contour drawing is where you draw without lifting your pen. So I did it just looking at it at first, and then after I did a couple, I did the third one as a blind contour, and they can be really, really fun. But I just needed to get into the rhythm. So, yeah, it kind of creates these kooky looking little shapes. Now, while I was drawing, I then sort of worked out, I could use that bubble piece as a frame. So, yeah, I don't know, things just come to you as you're doing them sometimes. You've just got to go, well, I don't know what I'm doing, I'll just start. And that was exactly what I did. So, yeah, I was happy with my first one. I just love that, as I said, that weird kookiness you get to the actual photo. And this is just a shot of me one day when I was managing to get out without the kids, and I was doing a bit of a recce at the museum not the museum, at the art gallery, because I just wanted to, think of ways to make it accessible for my son. And while I was there, I managed to stop to have some lunch because somebody else was with my son looking after him, and they said, go have some lunch. So that's why I was looking so happy. This was me as I came home after I last got my hair cut, and gosh, I'm due to get it cut again. So I just wanted to see how that, and this is so funny because the photo doesn't look too granny, but when you look at the contour drawing after I do it, it looks like a wonderful granny. So I'm sure I'll use this in something. Just made me giggle. I love it. Also made me really think of, I am at, and see, I accidentally took my hand off the page. It's hard. And look, I just haven't made that nose anywhere big enough. That's not... In our family, we always spot the nose. There's the nose, because we've all got that nose. So yeah, this is on my side of the family. And all right, so this last one is the one that I actually went for. So I'm doing this blind, so only looking at the photo, not looking at my hand, trying to remember to keep my pen on the paper. And these are the ones, these blind ones, they're really fun. So if you struggle to draw, these are great because they're meant to not be quite sitting in the right place and sitting a little bit off. And after a little while, you don't get too bad at actually putting them in the spot. So it was funny, when I looked back at my page, I realised that I'd completely forgotten the, other section of my head. But then I really loved the gap that gave. So for some reason, that was the one I went with. Now, I thought just to add to these, I'd colour them up Tamara Laporte style. She just splashes watercolour and everything all over in different places, and I really love the way that her things work out. So I've only done watercolour here. I haven't added doodles like she often does. I haven't added, pens or pencils or anything like that. I've just done the splosh of colour, and I just think that emphasises that real abstract feel of the piece. Do you like that? Trying to speak like I know what I'm talking about. But remember, this is all just for fun. So I'm really looking forward to what everybody else has come up with. I mean, it's probably a bit of a cop-out having bubbles in the frame, but I mean, officially that's the prompt. It's my selfie in a bubble. So, and it's sort of in lots of bubbles. So yeah, anyway, I'm going with it. Yeah. But, I mean, I'll probably use these other ones on a journal card or just to decorate a page and stuff. And actually, wouldn't it look cool if you did a whole bunch of these and then you actually played about a bit and had them on the corners of pages, like all through a notebook? You could do like a whole heap of different faces. You could do a different one for every page. And then you could actually have a journal that you had all of those on each page, and then you could have pages in between sections that were like photo frame pages, like big pocket pages that people could put their own photos in. Ooh, there you go. There's an idea. So just rambling. Alrighty. I mean, I'm so inspired by what everyone else has done this year. I don't feel like I've really jumped in yet. So I hope I kind of get a bit more oomph or feeling next week, because so I've got one more tomorrow that I've already got in the can. I just have to edit and voice that. And then we don't have our next one until next week. But yeah, just loving it. Oh, now this is just some ink, salvaged patina, one of my favourite ink colours. And so I did some little splotches, and I coloured up the edges as well of the photo frame and of the back piece. So yeah, this is all I did to make a photo frame. I just kept gently tearing it until I got the right shape. I didn't want it to sit square on the page. I wanted it to be a little bit off. And at this stage, I'm like, okay, I've got a photo frame. I don't know what else I'm going to do yet. And I'm still not quite sure. So I literally went, okay, just stick it down. Just stick it down. I'm thinking maybe I make that a pocket, or, I'm really, as I said, really not sure yet at this stage. And then once I've got it all glued down, I was pretty generous with my glue because of the embossing. I wanted to make sure that it stuck down really nicely, really well. And I'm looking at it, and then all of a sudden I realised, oh, you know what? This could be a giant tag. So that's what I went with, a giant tag. And, giant tags are fabulous. You can put them in and they kind of can solve a whole page for you. So you do a giant tag, it takes up, all or almost all of the page, and then you've really got a page sorted out. And you can slip it in, you can clip it on with a paper clip, you can pop it in a side tuck. It's very easy, but it's one of those lovely little solutions that you can come up with. So I'm just adding some reinforcer holes to the front and back. And thank you, Louise. You reminded me that I had some reinforcement holes in my stash that I needed to use on my pages, and I could use them on this little project today too. So she does the same as I do, where just use ink to just colour them up, and voila, you've always got them. So this is a little thing that I often like to do. I'll ink around the edge of a piece of a shape, and then I'll stamp off around the edges. On this one, I actually decided I'd add a bit of coffee dyed paper just to add a little bit more structure, because even though that was sketch paper, it was still just a little bit light for a card. So I've stamped out a word. This time I stamped nurture. So I'm just putting a little bit of lace along the bottom here. But I thought that's a message for all of us, right? We should really nurture ourselves a little bit more. We're always talking about nurturing other people and the planet and all these things, but sometimes I think we forget about ourselves. So I thought that would be a nice little reminder for myself that I need to nurture myself too, which feels even weird to say, but there you go. There's my deep philosophical sharing for the day. Now, look, I'm just finishing off here, adding a few embellishments. There's my little title piece, had some little flowers, so I layered them up. And I still didn't feel like it quite looked finished. So I kind of wish I hadn't. I don't mind it at this stage, but I think I did end up going too heavy-handed in the end. So I'm just drawing with the ink bottle. This is one of those spray ink bottles, and I'm just using the bottom of it to draw because it kind of is a bit scratchy, and I like that because you get that just like the contour drawing. It's a little bit of a method that you can't do it precisely, so that really helps. But yeah, I went for it. So I wish I kind of had it. I wish I had added my little tie before I'd done that. But I'm still happy with it. Like I learnt so much, and you always learn heaps as you're going through. But there you are. Add a little tie to the topper with a few different pieces that I had. Quickly did a background. So this is just one of my own stencils that I cut out on my brother, and my brother print and scan. So much fun. Must do a lot more of them. So I inked through that stencil. I added some extra drops of the Salvage Patina, and then I'm all finished. Because there is my selfie in a bubble. I've got my tuck, my corner pocket on the side. There it is front and back. See, it slips nicely into that. I just sewed a couple of the edges. And voila, that's another day done. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw today. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you next time. And in the meantime, keep creating. Enjoy.